Everyone. My name is Anna, and welcome to today's message. Today, we're going to talk about an incredible truth. This is going to get a little deep and personal, but I am going to ask you to listen to the end. What I am about to tell you will change your life. Let's start with a short lesson of words. There's a word that many people haven't heard. It's called conscience. It's an inner feeling of voice, viewed as acting like a guide to the right or wrong of your behavior. The part of the ego and psychoanalysis that transmits commands to your inner self so you can discern what is correct and morally good. The word conscious, a mind or thought having knowledge or being aware. It's the inner light, your private thoughts, your cognition, your self awareness, and your imagination all coming together. It's knowing what's inside of yourself. The word conscientia, it's a Latin word meaning knowledge within, the shared internal knowledge of your moral value, the knowledge of the value of your own thoughts, your intuition, and your inner self. And then finally, conscious phenomenology, a long word meaning the subjective nature of your experience. So essentially, how you experience your world and your place in it. The way our consciousness directs us to reality, and how our reality is intentional based on our experience. These are different words, but tied together with what I call an invisible string. The basic meaning of consciousness. You see, knowledge in general, the intentional introspect and phenomenon of the human thought, is your mentality. It's your experience and what you taste and see, your body sensations like pain or an itch. It's the action and thought used in your thinking and in creating your state of mind. Most people associate their thoughts with what they perceive on the outside of their life. This is being conscious. But it's an inner knowledge of self consciousness or the awareness of yourself that creates your mental state of mind. This is where manifestation of your mind takes over, what it is perceived in the outside world, the uninhabited ability to choose how you create and whether you allow others to dictate that. So, enough science for today, but you get the picture as you read this. You can go back and look at the explanations if needed. The purpose of all this is going to expose itself in my message. Once you have all of this figured out, what I'm going to share with you today, and you understand it, you will have all the answers you've ever needed to be the person that you're meant to be. So, I'm going to start today by explaining something about who I am. I'm a girl who didn't like school. Elementary school was fun because I was learning a lot and I was figuring out who I was. I played and I laughed and I learned. But the fact is, once I got to middle school, I was bored. And I'm saying bored, out of my mind. No offense to my science or social studies teachers, but those were the classes I ignored and didn't pay attention to. And I just sat there imagining myself doing more. It was not that I didn't like the class. I understood socioeconomics already, and science in the book was not the science in my head. I was busy dreaming of the stars and the universe and how they were formed and how people's brains worked. I could care less about dissecting frogs. Now, math had my attention, and thanks to Mr. Alma, Mr. Molberg, I used this skill to become a finance director and learn to run the many businesses that I've owned. But in truth, I wanted to learn more complex things like universal structure and the Big Bang Theory. I have every reason to believe that because I was quiet, I was challenged in school. The reason, part of the reason that I was bullied and never fit in. I couldn't figure out why everyone else seemed so different than me. It wasn't until I was an adult that I realized it was because I was indeed different. I recognized that not everyone thought like I did. And the day that I realized that my complicated mind was not the same as everyone around me, I also felt like I was about to have a mind that would drive me insane. But that is also the day I realized that I have the power to create. And I had been doing it for most of my life, but I didn't understand that capability. I really didn't fully grasp it until more recently in my life, and I'm finally now telling my story. You see, life and how we perceive it is a combination of both science and consciousness. The debate of how the world was created and how it operates, as many of you know, is this exact problem. No one can agree which is correct. Is God the answer or is science the answer? Well, the answer is neither. Neither is correct without the other. Together, they form it all. We, as humans, form it. We are creation, and creation is us. You are the creation. You see, everlasting life means to continue to create, even after our physical body has died. The body is only a means for us to do physical things that are needed to grow into evolved humans and be able to reach actual eternal life. You get to choose to participate in order to do so. And if you don't choose to evolve into actual ascension, you continue to live in chaos, repeating the same things until you actually decide to do it. I'm going to share an incredible story with you. When I was in my 30s, I woke up one night unable to breathe. I stood on the side of my bed with my hands on the mattress, gasping for air. You know, that high pitched wheezing sound comparable to someone who has asthma. It scared me and my husband. When I began to breathe again, we went back to bed. I remained awake all night, thinking while my husband slept beside me. He had no idea what had brought me to that point, and until now, hardly anyone has ever heard the story. I had died in my sleep. I stopped breathing. Now, I'll tell you that, like people say, I found myself in this incredibly warm, inviting light. It was so bright that I couldn't see anything else. I moved incredibly fast through the light and I was fully aware, but I was alone. And as I sped through time, the light, which reminded me of shards of hot glass flying past at the speed of 1,000,000 miles an hour, glowing alongside me. When I got to the end, I found myself waiting to be seen, but knowing there was an awareness that I was there. I watched as others went through an open space and just simply disappeared. I remember thinking, is this heaven? And am I dead? I became aware that as people were moving through this open, very small portion of space, that a little slice of their soul, a small sliver, was being held behind. I couldn't see it, I just knew it occurred. And suddenly, that small slice of the soul was alive and in movement, going in a different direction than the rest of it. I came to the realization that I was leaving this space and going backwards through the light, speeding at the same unbelievable speed and force that had brought me there in the first place. The next thing I knew, I was standing next to the bed, gasping for air. I never completely understood all this until recently. What happens with this small slice of soul is that it continues. If you're unsuccessful in ascending, it's used to create your experience again, and you remain on this earthly hamster wheel. It's only when you choose in faith to allow your brain to follow your heart, and it's in that you evolve. You can only do this by using your imagination to create. Your brain will do what you say, but only if you believe it. And your brain is directed by your heart, where God's unconditional love lives. It's a little miracle created within us, and God allows it to evolve within us. Now, I know there's going to be people right now who are hearing me, and they'll say I'm cracked, or they'll gossip about me. I'm going to tell you now, I don't care if you do. You aren't me, and you didn't experience what I experienced. When God opened your eyes to the amazing creation that you actually are, you can't close them again. It becomes the inner knowledge of your creation. I've continually told you through my messages that love is the answer. You're told that your brain is the center of who you are and what controls your physical body. But I'm going to tell you today that's not true. It's your heart. It's your heart that controls the human condition. Our hearts are more powerful than our brain. In fact, your heart is the strongest generator in the world. It controls electrical and magnetic fields inside your body. It's 5,000 times more powerful than your brain. There's science to back this up. You can check it out on your own. So, when you create feelings of love, compassion, forgiveness, joy, and light, you generate electricity. And that creates a magnetic force. The electricity radiates from you and creates what is known as a glow. It interacts with everything around you. And because everything is connected, it changes the world around you as well. Your heart transmits it to your brain, and then you become a magnet for others and all the things you create within it. There's a special kind of bodily response called neuroplasticity. You can talk to a neurosurgeon or look it up if you don't believe me. But it literally gives you the power to heal your brain. It allows your brain to rewire the neural connection, and it responds to experience, to what you learn and the environment. And it's like if you're in an accident and you have, let's say, a TBI. It allows your brain to analyze the information, adapt, and gives your brain the ability to change by forming new connections and networks. It's all driven by your heart. And as I said before, your heart is 5,000 times more powerful than your brain. It's the brain's ability to absorb what your heart tells it and evolve to manage new challenges as they occur. It's a natural bodily gift given by God, a rewire based on your experience, a constant process of evolution. But like many things in your life, if you don't use it, you lose it. It deteriorates because the brain and heart are muscles. Now that you understand better, let's get back to how consciousness and science are both the answer. Since you understand that using your heart and brain makes them stronger, you need to use them. And practice makes perfect. So if you keep repeating what you want in your heart, then your brain will naturally follow. You have to focus exactly on what you want your brain to know by being clear, strong, and precise in your heart. If you do it halfway, you only get half results. So you can't complete the math problem with only half the numbers, so to say. It only works if it is truly meaningful to you. So commit to it. God only helps those who help themselves. And you have to work at it. Salvation is free, but the rest, it requires you to be conscious. Practice makes perfect. Learn how to use your ability to create, and don't let anything interfere with how you're learning, because that affects your next lesson. You need to learn the lesson before you can evolve. And I'll just tell you, when you're younger, it's easier. So if you're a bit older like me, it's going to take some time and patience. This is why children can easily learn. We can discuss that another time, but you should know that children can learn anything faster and retain it easier. It's because our brains are like a pruner. They're so smart that they remove what it thinks we don't need. And if we aren't using it, well, you get the idea. And children are especially capable of finding patterns and unusual possibilities because they don't have the things that complicate and mess up our brain. They're cognitively more capable of accepting being creative, and they're naturally curious. And it's what they learn as they grow that changes their mind about how they feel in their heart. Prior to what they learn, they're pure-hearted, which goes back to making sense that because I'm older and I've had a lot of experiences, that it's taken more time and patience for me to learn. So here's what I'm going to leave you with. In life, you're the creator, and God gives you the mind to do it. You see, we're not just a human body. We are living beings. We're meant to charge boldly into life and stand before God and in front of other people and face our demons. We are true mirrors of who we want to be, but fail to create. If you want peace, you have to give control to God. If you want to be free, you have to face the truth of who you are. If you want to love, you have to risk being seen for who you are in your heart. If you want success, you have to follow the path God has chosen for you. And if you want respect, then be alone and respect yourself first. And if you want to reach your full potential in all God has for you, stop making excuses and accept the magic that God put within you. It's all in you. You see, there's going to come a time when you're going to elevate. And there you'll greet yourself. You'll return to you and your loving heart. Because that's when you chose to give the mirror in your heart that you never knew that you consciously ignored for so long. That person has loved you your entire life. You'll return to the life that was meant for you, the life given by God. Once you realize all this, you will stop criticizing who you are, what you've done. You'll be forgiving, you'll be kind, you'll be loving, because God is in you and God approves of you. Once you realize that, you'll experience God's unconditional love. Because when God has a plan for you, He'll continue to test your faith until you learn. And He's going to challenge you. And He'll reveal Himself to you in who you are in Him. So don't give up. Grow in your faith. Meet the challenges. Reveal who you are. God's promise to us is true. I'm living proof. We only become what we're meant to be when we seek to find who we are in God and understand that He's within us. It's only when we choose the Holy Spirit that God put inside of us that we understand joy and God's unconditional love. It's only then that we're prepared to share that with others. See, love is the way, and in your internal body, All your moving parts and pieces are just the vessel. And the truth is that your consciousness controls it all because God puts love there in your heart, and that controls your brain, not the other way around. So let go of anything else in your life and believe in this miracle, this magic, this joyful light. Just believe in the faith that God put in you, and literally anything becomes possible. If this resonated with you, please visit my website at www.evolve1111.org. Please like and share my post. We're on YouTube. You can find the video version of A Reverent Wisdom of a Meme there. Check it out. And don't forget to visit our Facebook page. Thank you for your divine donations to my mission and for helping to keep my message alive. I'll see you next time.